welcome into this edition of Cronkite Sports Live alongside Emmie, Keenan. I'm Alex Gaul. It's our first time behind the CSL anchor desk, Emmie, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
Alex, you're so right. I'm so happy to be behind the desk with you. Second show of the season. What do we have going on?
Well, I mean, if you've been living under a rock for the last 6 days, you might not know that Arizona State now has a ranked football team. Number 24 in the nation, in fact. And that comes after a thrilling road victory in East Lansing over the then number 18 ranked Michigan State. So let's get to the highlights. Herm Edwards was seeking his second victory against the Spartans in as many seasons. Jumping now second quarter scoreless ball game, and sophomore kicker Christian Zendejas hit a kicker in for the third straight game, and he is true from 41 yards out to give ASU a 3-0 lead at halftime. Moving ahead to the fourth quarter now, and ASU's defense still pitching a shutout, but Elijah Collins has other ideas. The redshirt freshman bouncing outside the tackles to give Sparty its first lead of the ball game, 7-3 MSU. But the Sun Devils would respond later in the quarter. Their longest drive of the game, 11 plays, 75 yards, the longest one of the game right there, 40 yards to Brandon Ayuk. It's finished off by their star running back, Eno Benjamin stretches his right arm across the goal line to put ASU ahead 10-7 inside the final minute. But the Spartans were not finished. They put together a quick 46-yard drive of their own to set up Matt Coughlin for the potential game-tying field goal. Coughlin from 42, and the kick is good. But wait, the refs would take a look at this one and would determine MSU had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players on the field. So we go again after a 5-yard penalty. Coughlin from 47, and the kick is no good at the buzzer. Arizona State holds on for a 10-7 away victory to remain a perfect 3-0 on the season. And now we send it out to WCSN football reporter Jack Lauderay with more on Herm's game plan for this coming week against Colorado.
ASU is now ranked in the top 25 for the first time this season. And with Pac-12 play looming, Herm Edwards took to the stand this week to address the media.
We need to start scoring points on offense if we're going to be competitive going through this Pac-12 gauntlet of teams we have to play. And as I said before, we continue to try to get better every week. So that's kind of where we're at as a football team.
But Michigan State in non-conference play are in the rear-view mirror for Arizona State. Coming up, they have their home conference opener against Colorado.
Week is a conference game. We haven't had one of those of late. An opponent that really has an explosive offense. Quarterbacks coming back. Montanez and Chenault is probably one of the best players in the Pac-12, maybe one of the best offensive players in the country. They're an explosive offense, especially in the second half. Scored 72 points. Their opponents have only scored 27s.
But the player on Arizona State's radar is wide receiver number 2, Laviska Shenault, who was a thorn in Arizona State's side last year, scoring 4 touchdowns against the Devils last year.
He's a really good football player. It's fun to watch him on tape. You just know that, like last year, the guy scored 4 touchdowns. I don't know. He scored 4. He scored 28 points. He scored all of them. You better be ready for it.
Arizona State will look to shut him down, as well as the rest of the Colorado offense, who come here to Sun Devil Stadium this Saturday. Reporting for Cronkite Sports, I'm Jack Lauderay.
ASU's defense has been on a roll, only allowing 7 points for the Spartans, making it the lowest scoring output for them against a non-conference opponent since 1992. We have WCSN football reporter with us, Gareth Kwok. Gareth, take us away.
That's right. Arizona State's defense has been solid throughout this season, giving up only 21 points in just 3 games, giving up 7 points a game. But if you know anything at all about Arizona State's defense and defensive coordinator Danny Gonzalez, they're not satisfied just yet with their performance.
All it needs to just get to the ball more. I mean, we're just doing everything I can, but I think like as we go into the season, more into the season, like stuff slows down more, and every week it's been like that. So we feel like we're progressing.
We just gotta stay on the right track. Don't get complacent, and just keep playing with that swagger. That helped our swagger a little bit too. We can go on the field, So yeah, that was a big win.
Knowing that we always knew that we was that great defense, but just proving to ourselves so everybody can really know that if we really play to our expectations every day and keep working how we do at practice, we can be a great defense that can help our team. We can go to Pac-12 championship just off our defense being that elite.
I mean, we really haven't done nothing yet though, so we only won 3 games, so we just gotta keep going.
It's just another game. It's just like Michigan State game. It's a great team in our way. We gotta keep going. And it's the first game Pac-12, so we should have our heads on straight.
Sun Devils taking on the Colorado Buffaloes this Saturday night here at Sun Devil Stadium. And the Devils are going to be looking to get revenge over Colorado after falling to them last year, 28-21. But for now, reporting from Sun Devil Stadium here in Tempe, Gareth Kwok, Cronkite Sports.
Thanks, Gareth. We mentioned ASU kicker Christian Zendejas earlier on in the show, and what a season he has had so far. Filling in for the injured Brandon Reese, the redshirt sophomore has not missed through the first 3 games and is tied with 5 others for the national lead. He was the Pac-12 Special Teams Player of the Week after ASU's win over Sacramento State. So the question might be, what hasn't Zendejas done so far? Well, until now, that answer would have been become a scholarship player. But on Tuesday, that changed when Coach Herm Edwards surprised Christian with a scholarship in front of the entire team.
Herm Edwards and company will also get some extra publicity later on this season, as they have been selected as one of the 4 featured schools in HBO's new Hard Knocks style show, College Football 24/7. The show will spotlight the build-up to the Devils' big matchup with number 19 Washington State in October. The Cougars will also be featured the following week, leading to their game against Colorado. And while it's good for the Pac-12 that they have 2 teams in the HBO spotlight, the Conference of Champions has been on a tear early on. For the first time since 2015, the conference has 6 teams simultaneously ranked in the Associated Press for top 25 rankings. For more on the state of Pac-12 football, here's Spencer Chihawk with this week's edition of Impact.
Thanks, Emmie. To find the last time there were 6 Pac-12 teams inside the AP Top 25, you'll have to go all the way back to November 8th, 2015. Fast forward to today, the conference's best teams, Utah and Oregon, sit at 10 and 16 respectively. Keep an eye on quarterbacks Tyler Huntley for Utah and Justin Herbert for Oregon. You'll have to go to the Evergreen State to find the next 2 teams, with Washington State ranked at 19 and their rival Washington at 22. Right on the tail of the Huskies is the Cal Golden Bears, who have already beaten Washington this year. Finally, Arizona State comes in just 1 spot behind Cal at 24. Although they come in as the 6th highest ranked team in the conference, they hold the Pac-12's best win thanks to last week's victory in East Lansing. With 8 teams having been ranked at some point this season, the Pac-12 is looking to deserve the title Conference of Champions once again. Back to you guys.
Moving to a different field, ASU women's soccer team has ended their losing streak. After losing to Oklahoma and UCF, sophomore Nicole Douglas scored the game-winning goal against LSU in Baton Rouge. And now they are closing conference play today against CSUN at 6:40.
Arizona State was recently named the most innovative school in America for the 5th straight year. Now this is about the time that us sports folks start throwing around the word dynasty. But there's another ASU dynasty that fans should take note of, and that would be the 3-time reigning national champion Arizona State triathlon team. The Sun Devils began their 2019 season earlier on this month and have finished in first place overall in both of their competitions so far. The most recent one being last weekend, when the Devils had the top 4 overall finishers in the West Regional Qualifier in South Dakota. Paced by Kyla Roy's time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 12.4 seconds, ASU turned in a dominant performance, placing 7 competitors in the top 10. Arizona State has one more race before Nationals, which will be hosted in Tempe this November.
While triathlon was dominating in South Dakota, the ASU men's golf team pulled out a tournament win closer to home. At the Maui Gym Intercollegiate in Scottsdale, the Sun Devils trailed UA by 1 stroke heading into the last day. Led by sophomore Cameron Six, the team came out with a 7-stroke victory, shooting 5 under the final round.
It was great. Every time we made a bogey, we responded well with birdies and pars, and every time we made a birdie, we followed it up with another birdie or a par. So we take pride in that, and it was awesome. And now, it's just like everything else. Football beats Michigan State, but you got another tournament in a week just like that. We got another tournament in Dallas next week, and nobody will hardly remember what we did here, and we got to get ready for that one.
This is a huge step in the right direction. It's a really good field. Winning the first, we're 1 for 1, so. We can bring it, week in, week out. I think we're going to be really good this year.
Now it's time for Sun Devils social media, and Emmie, to break that down for us, we have our own social media expert, Spencer Hardenberg. Spencer, how are you today?
I'm great, guys. I'm really excited to be here, show you guys what's been going on in the Twitter sphere. Got 3 tweets for you guys today. Let's start with a WCSN alum, Zach Pocklib, talking about an ASU alum, James Harden. You guys might have heard James Harden came up with a new shoe and named it Hassayampa, which is the name of his freshman year dorm at ASU, where he says he became a man. Now, I don't know if I want to know what that means, James. I know he didn't come here to play school, so I'm sure he was having fun at Hassy. But what would you guys name your shoe if you had one coming out?
Here at ASU, Taylor Place.
Taylor Place?
The Taylor Place 5s.
Yes. What
or 12 for the floor, right?
Hey, 12.
14.
I was floor 12.
I was on floor 11 too.
You were
so
11?
you can get them all those different ones.
Are you going to Taylor Place too?
Yeah, for 2 years I was in Taylor Place. So
wow.
Definitely.
Is that the name of your shoe?
Well, I didn't become a man, I would say there, but James Harden apparently did.
I would have to agree with that one. Now, the second tweet, we all know Urban Meyer. You can say what you want about him, but the guy is a collegiate football coaching legend, and he said at some point Arizona State is going to become a top 15 program. Now, I kind of insinuated that at some point, probably soon. Do you guys agree with that? And if they are to do that, how are they going to get there?
Well, Spencer, you're asking 2 questions. One, is it going to happen? The answer to that question is yes, it's going to happen. The time frame, though, is the thing that we can debate a little bit about. Personally, I think it's going to be about 5 years from now where they consistently get ranked in the top 15, top 20 teams in the nation. But I do think it's going to happen. I think that's the most important part.
Okay.
They're on the upward. They're on a rise. 5 years, Alex, I think that's about right. Herm is here for the long haul.
Herm is here for the long haul. I think he's a great recruiter. Just got to be more consistent. We always know they're in and out of the rankings, so we'll see what happens with them. Now, this last one, let's have a little fun. Sparky versus Sparty. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Oh, wow.
It's a little back and forth. Sparky starts with "Let's Better Look Out." You know, the push-up champ.
The push-ups.
He's coming into town.
Oh, man.
And he thinks he's got him. But now Sparty comes back. He thinks he's got the upper hand. Imagine using both arms to do a push-up. Couldn't be me.
Man.
And then Sparky, the finishing blow, scoreboard. Imagine not being able to kick a football. And guys, as we know, that's what lost Michigan State was game, was the inability to kick 47 and under yard field goals. So, besides a push-up competition, I'm talking a duel. Who wins, or in a real fight?
Are those muscles real? Let's be honest. Are they?
I think they are.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
for the sake of it, yes, absolutely.
For the sake of it, I'm gonna go with Sparty. Let's you go.
Well, see, I think Sparty definitely has the edge over the bronze, but have you ever heard the phrase "never bring a knife to a gunfight"? Because I think in this case, it's never bring a pitchfork to. Yeah, exactly. So Sparky's got the pitchfork. He's got the mystical powers, as you know as well. So I think he would win, not the brawn of Sparty.
I'm taking Sparky too. That puts Sparky at 2-0 this week versus Michigan State.
And Spencer, you were 3-0 with those tweets. Fantastic job as always, and thank you so much
you.
for being here.
ASU men's hockey took their first international trip over the summer, and they found themselves admiring one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Great Wall of China. Reporter Mike McWade is here with the story.
After coming off their best season and first NCAA tournament appearance, the ASU hockey team traveled to Beijing this summer. The Sun Devils faced off against professional teams from China and Russia. In the end, they walked away with a tournament win with a 4-1 record.
It was awesome, but just to go and spend not only the 2 weeks in China, but the 10 days leading up to China here in kind of a mini camp type setting where they're not in school and they're focused only on hockey and getting to know each other, fitness testing, everything that came into that trip, huge advantage.
The time on the ice gave the Sun Devils a head start, but off the ice created a unique bond.
Get that bond going and start becoming family, and I think that's what we did over in China. I mean, you're with each other 24/7 for 12 days straight. I don't think anything else can happen but become a family, and that's what I think really started over there.
Not only were they able to grow as a group, but they also experienced a new style of play.
The college game is just kind of completely different. It's dump the puck in, skate as hard as you can with 10 amazing skaters on the ice compared to just slowing it down and toe drag. I mean, just a lot more fast-paced game here than it was over there.
In addition to all these new experiences, the Sun Devils had a surprising encounter.
We were going up the wall, and as we were coming back down, Alexander Ovechkin was going up. And our guys were in their jerseys, and he was in their jerseys. So it's just crazy small world, but for that to happen when our team's over in China was pretty special.
The road to Detroit, home of the 2020 Frozen Four tournament, begins in 2 weeks, where the Sun Devils kick off against Mercyhurst.
And now staying with men's hockey, we bring in our very own Michael Gutnick to break down the 2019 squad as they prepare for the upcoming season. Michael, it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right into it. There's lots of things changing in this program, Michael, and obviously that starts with the departure of goaltender Joey Daccord to the NHL. There's a lot of newcomers in to fill that void. What have you seen from this new crop of goaltenders?
That's right, Alex. There's a trio of netminders competing for the starting job. At the forefront, it's Max Prodzik, who's a graduate transfer from Boston University. And if you take a look at his numbers, it's a small sample size, but good consistency there. And he also got the bulk of the work in the ASU's Trinitip over the summer. And Justin Robbins and Evan DeBrouwer round out the goalie competition. They've been working hard at practice in order to compete for that opening job 2 weeks away from now.
Yeah, and Michael, there's a lot of turnover on this team outside of the goalie situation as well. Who are some freshmen to look out for, both on the blue line and up front as well?
Well, the highlight for this year's recruiting class is Logan Genuine. I mean, he put up ridiculous record-breaking numbers. 60 goals, 104 points in the North American Hockey League. This guy's going to bring immediate firepower to this already loaded Sun Devil offense. And then on the blue line, you got Jacob Semick and Jack Judson. These are two guys that are round out ASU's top four pairing on the blue line. I'm telling you right now, this is going to help not just with the defense, but also offensive production there.
Yeah, and Michael, one thing that really helped this program make their first NCAA tournament of their young career, really, last year, was their strong strength of schedule. Going into the new season, though, what games should fans be circling on their calendars already?
Well, the most important game of the season is going to be against Quinnipiac. And if you recall from last season, they fell to them in their first ever tournament appearance. And if you take a look at their first few games in the schedule, Minnesota State on the road and Air Force on the road, those are two tough games. But then further down the road, you got Denver, Michigan State, Harvard. These are all perennial powerhouses that ASU is going to have to tackle if hopes for them to hopefully make the tournament for a second straight season.
And Michael, the Sun Devil Hockey starts their season at home early next month, and for full coverage of the preseason build-up, stay locked with WCSN and Michael's content at cronkitesports.com.
Now, from the ice to the hardwood, we have ASU women's volleyball reporter Gabe Schwartz here to answer some questions. Now, Gabe, the Sun Devils are 7-3 non-conference play. What have we learned about the team so far?
Well, the biggest thing that we've got with this ASU women's volleyball team is they're a mirror image of last year's team. They're inconsistent most of the time. You don't know what you're going to get night to night. They're pretty young. They've got 9 upperclassmen and 9 underclassmen, so the meshing with the young players and the old players is something that they're still tweaking the lineups with. With the offensively, the Sun Devils have struggled at times figuring out who's going to be the leading outside hitter. Andrea Mitrovic has stepped up, but lacking offensively is Ivana Jeremic, the senior outside hitter. So right now it's just a little bit inconsistent, and we're still trying to figure out what we're seeing before we enter Pac-12 play.
Now, you said don't really know what to expect. What can you tell us about ASU as they enter Pac-12 play next Thursday against their rival Arizona?
I think what I'm expecting as we get into the Pac-12 slate on Thursday night at Wells Fargo Arena is just more of the same. ASU last year went 5-15 against the Pac-12, and I think that they're going to be right around the same mark. The conference as a whole is just too strong, and I don't think that they have the right squad in place at the moment. So I think they're going to take their lumps. The Pac-12 is probably the best conference in America, and they're going to get a couple wins, but just like last year, they're going to struggle as well.
Well, thanks, Gabe. For more of his content, go to cronkitesports.com. Now on to my favorite segment, The Way It Is. Alex and I are going to ask each other questions. Whoever wins gets a monologue. Starting off, staying with ASU women's volleyball, the team is playing their rival, like I said, in less than a week. How many sets, Alex, do you think they will go with the 8-2 team, Arizona?
Yeah, well, Arizona is definitely one of the perennial powers here in the Pac-12 and ASU women's volleyball. They're definitely an inconsistent team. I think they go 4 sets with Arizona. They maybe take the second set.
Now, they're playing Kansas right now. U of A beat Kansas in 3. I think ASU can hold it out. It's going to go in 5. Ultimately, I think UA is going to win.
Yeah, so Emmie, ASU women's soccer broke their losing streak after beating LSU on Sunday, and tonight they take on CSUN to close out the non-conference play. How do you think they'll fare against Utah in their first game of Pac-12 play?
Well, Alex, ASU has more wins under their belt. With a player like Nicole Douglas, 9 goals last season, 7 already this season, coming off of a win, I think they're going to beat them.
Yeah, Nicole Douglas has been fantastic up front. They also have Marlene Schimmer up front as well, Alexia Delgado, Eva Van Dersen in midfield. And they're all from different countries as well. It's just such a talented group up front, this front six from Grant Winkworth's side. I think they could definitely beat Utah and make some noise in the Pac-12 this season.
All right, last question. ASU just beat Michigan State in East Lansing, and now they are going to play Colorado, who just lost to Air Force in overtime. What are you expecting the outcome to be for the first game of conference play for the Sun Devils in Tempe?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game for the Sun Devils. I mean, it's definitely something that they struggled with last year against this Colorado Buffaloes team. They lost in Colorado last year, but I think this year it's going to be a lot different. They have a strong win coming off that Michigan State win. I think they get it done on Saturday.
I agree with you, Alex. I think people sleep on ASU too much. Herm is on a roll right now. Started 28 freshmen last game. Freshman quarterback, 3 wins tomorrow. I think he's going to get his 4th.
All right, now, I mean, the only thing
Who's
that's up left is to figure out who gets the reader. There we go. First show, and I get the first reader of the day. So when I say the word soccer, what name comes to mind? Maybe Ronaldo or Messi or Lewandowski, Morgan, Rapinoe. Too many to count, really. But there's really some other names you should be taking notice of, some of them right here in Arizona. And that's because English gaffer Graham Winkworth has brought European-style football to the desert, and his side has a real chance to do some damage in the Pac-12 this season. With returners up front, solid newcomers in the back, and a revitalized European possession-based play style, the Sun Devils are primed to make the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2014. For starters, the Sun Devils an incredibly skilled front six. Nicole Douglas and Marlene Schimmer are both talented finishers from anywhere up front, and that's in the front of Graham Winkworth's 4-4-2 formation. And they're supported by technically gifted midfielders like Alexia Delgado and Eva Van Dersen. Although all individually talented in their own rights, they've thrived as a group in a possession play style where short passes and slow build-up play are key to breaking down a defense. Add an overlapping play from the fullbacks as well as penetrating runs from ASU's freshman center back duo, and the Sun Devils have put together a lethal offensive system. They have netted 25 goals in their first 8 non-conference games, more than doubling their non-conference total from last season. With their last non-conference game later on tonight against CSUN, it's time for fans to jump on the ship now before it's too late. And that's the way it is.
Thank you again for up to top plays. We have number 3 right here. It is ASU Michigan State. Daniels back, throws it long. Connects with Brandon Ayuk at the 25. Spartan 25, the longest play for ASU easily. Now,
40-yard completion, Emmie, and that definitely set up this next play right here. Not technically the next play, but later on in the same drive. 4th and 13, ASU has to get a first down here to have a chance at winning it. And there goes freshman quarterback Jaden Daniels inside the 15 for the first down, and that would set up our number 1 play,
Number
Emmie.
1, same game, less than a minute left to play. Eno Benjamin reaches into the end zone. That is going to seal the victory for ASU in this game. Watch it again right there. So close, and he got the win for them. Wow, what a play, Alex. That's wild that they got the game like that.
A fantastic job by ASU last week and ASU football, and a fantastic job by us for our first show, I would say.
Yes.
And I would say thank you again for tuning into this edition of Cronkite Sports Live. We'll be in the same place, same time next week, different anchors, but we will see you next time.